What's up, beer drinkers? How y'all doing this week? We got another great show for you again this week. And you guessed it, we drink and review some vintage beers from Firestone Walker. This time we have the same, base beer anyway. Anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the show. Don't forget to follow us. Oh, yeah. I almost jumped to the plugs. Hey, you know what? Fuck it. Follow us on Untapped and on Instagram. Search Cöld Brüe Podcast. And see, on this week's show, like I said, we drink some Firestone Walker beers. In the beer news, how many beers at a beer festival is too many beers? That comes up. And then also in our Cöld Brüe List, Sorcerer Chromatic is boycotting baseball this year, even though baseball just started. So we go through the top 10 picks or top 10 college recruits for the NFL. And then in our Drunken Shenanigans, I bring up Saturday Night Live 50th, SNL 50, and also a little bit of the All-Star Week, but Sorcerer Chromatic didn't watch, so I just touch on that real quick. The NBA All-Star Weekend, I should say. Not even the weekend, just the tournament. That's all I saw. I didn't see the dunk contest or three-point or the skills or whatever they're doing now, double dutch or... what's that? See, I was going to make another joke and I totally stepped on my own joke because forgot what the name of the hopscotch. That's what hopscotch. Anyway, yeah, I didn't see any of that. All I saw was the tournament, the 4-team tournament. It was all right. It was entertaining, but it wasn't great. It wasn't basketball. Let's put it that way. It wasn't basketball. Might as well just play the pickup game. Of course, if I played a pickup game now, it'd be like 1st to 5. I don't even know if we get that. If we even be 1st to 5, if first point wins, I'm done. All right. Yeah, I already did the plug. So without further ado, it's time for another Cöld Brüe. Coming at you pre-recorded from Cöld Brüe Studios. I am Greg. He is Sorcerer Chromatic, and we're here to talk about beer.
Yes, we are.
How you doing this week, man?
Doing good. Crazy week. Kids were off for school. You know how that goes. I mean, they still have a program to go to, but yeah. Plus, I had the holiday, so it was a quick week.
Oh, so you got the President's Day off?
Yes.
Do you celebrate the presidents? Do you have president cake and all that stuff?
No. We just enjoyed our time off.
Yeah, and bought a mattress.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway. All right. Yeah, it's one of those pseudo holidays. You know how I feel about them, but we'll continue on. We'll talk about beer. Ready?
Sure.
All right. So I have in front of me from our good friends at Firestone Walker out in Paso Robles, California. This is my last vintage series beer, so I'm glad we're done with February because I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm tapped out after this one. This is from their 2023 vintage series. It's Parabola. Probably the most well-known out of all their barrel-aged and vintage line. It's basically their Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Hold on, let me grab the box. Our brewery began in 1996 when we delved into the rare art of fermenting beer in oak barrels. 10 years later, we took our barrel machinations to the next level by aging beer in vessels inherited from bourbon houses and other spirit producers. Ever since, the resulting beers have flown under the banner of the Proprietors Vintage Series, which has become one of our most extensive barrel aging programs in the craft industry. Of all of the beers in our Proprietors Vintage Series, Parabola is the most notorious. It is always a beast of a beer with intense flavors of black cherry, dark chocolate, vanilla, and roast coffee, yet each annual release also bears its own subtle imprints. For this latest edition, we aged the beer for a year in an equal combination of 8-year-old Blanton's bourbon and 12-year-old Weller wheated whiskey barrels. The wheated whiskey barrels accentuated Parabola's signature richness with fine notes of cereal grain, while bourbon barrels imparted their classic notes of toasted coconut and cocoa nibs. Enjoy this beer now or cellar in a cool, dark place between 45 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Allow it to warm up in the glass before serving. So without does it have a ABV on it? Yes, it does. It's 13.5% alcohol by volume. So without any further ado, pop off. Thanks to Eagle Cap Off. What you got?
Well, we didn't share notes or anything for this show, but I too have a Parabola.
Nice.
But I dug deep in my cellar and I have a 2017 offering.
Show off.
I know, right? I think this is the first year they started doing the smaller bottles, or at least the smaller bottles were more popular.
That you probably are right. Yeah, because right when I moved to Arizona, or right thereafter, they started doing the 12-ounce bottles instead of the bombers, right?
Right. And I I noticed that too. That this is probably my oldest one in the small variety. So without reading too much of the preamble, we'll get down to it. Second paragraph on the box. We present to you the 2017 vintage of Parabola, a barrel-aged imperial stout. It has been said that only consistent is change, and the same is true for barrel-aged beers. Cut from a similar recipe, Parabola evolves and shows a different face each year, a result of time spent aging in its barrel. Chocolate, charred oak, vanilla, black cherry, and coffee are just some of the complex aromas and flavors you will find in this beer. Parabola is a one of a kind sipping beer built to last and will reward careful aging for years to come. Cellar in a cool, dark place. Um, Real quick too, this one it's Paso Robles by way of what do they say? Kansas City, Missouri, because this
Boulevard.
batch was was made by their friends um, at Boulevard Brewing. So
Nice.
real quick too, OG is 31.2 Plato, IBU is 69, dude. Cases 8,000, final gravity 7.5. The yeast is a British ale yeast, and the color is it 103 SR? Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
You should have the same numbers on your bottle, more or less, right?
Oh yeah. Is it on the box or the bottle?
The bottle.
Let's see. Oh yeah. I see it now. It is 155 minus. Mine's darker.
All right. Well, mine is a heavy hitter at 14.50% ABV.
Yeah, you got me beat there.
And I don't.
Your mic cut out. Can you hear me at all? I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna pause for the cause. All right. So we had little technical difficulties. We're back. We'll share our first impressions of this beer, even though I've already drank like almost half of it, half of mine. I have the Parabola 2023 just to remind myself. This thing's fantastic, man. This is one of the first barrel-aged beers I ever had from Firestone Walker. I want to say it was back in like 2015 or 14 was the first time I ever had it. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just my lack of sophisticated palate, but I can't really taste all the nuances unless you stack them like right next to each other and I have like a blind taste test. Like it's really hard for me to differentiate between the one I had in 2015 to this 2023. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, some of that, like we could just even go back to last show when I had that tequila barrel age sunrise.
Yeah.
And it was based off of El Dorado. Like I haven't had an El Dorado in years, it's like,
right.
Yeah. So to even have that beer around to compare notes to, it's tricky.
Yeah.
And same goes like, you know, obviously we don't live in the same neighborhood no more. Um,
Hmm.
just you know, your Parabola experience right now is different than mine.
Yeah, right. Right, yeah, because you have 2017, but this one, it's still every year though. It's one of my favorites from Firestone Walker, and we're gonna go back to the Firestone Walker Invitational Beer Festival, and they have their little, they have like two or three tables or two or three booths, right, in that one special area that they have, and they always have Parabola, and I always get it because I love it's one of my favorite beers. It's probably one of the best beers out of California. One of the best imperial stouts out of California, barrel aged imperial stouts. So I dig it. This was fantastic. I'm gonna rate this one really high. I really taste the I really taste the weeded whiskey out of this one, the Wellers. I really do. There's like a subtle softness to it that is not always in Parabola, and so I'm digging this one a lot. So a little bit. I don't want to say a little bit more than the others because, like I said, I can't really compare year over year, but this one's really good, and I'm right now at this point it's hitting me correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Now, how's yours?
When you were talking about yours, I was sipping mine. Mine has really strong ABV notes, both
Yeah.
with the beer and from the barrel aging. It's it's still you can still tell it's a barrel aged drink because, like I said, it's really the just the alcohol is strong. The alcohol flavor is strong. The
Yeah.
the beer notes they're there. There's some sweetness there, but right now it just it seems kicked up more than average.
Yeah. And that's it.
Still digging this beer though.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just like you, a Firestone Walker fan and Parabola fan.
Right on. All right. We will rate these beers later on during our Untapped portion of the show. Don't forget to follow us on Untapped. So Cold Brew Podcast and friend us and we'll friend you back. But right now it's time for some beer news. Oh yeah, I had to hit the button. All right. First beer news story is when you go to a beer festival, we're gonna go to one in at the end of May, the last fucking day of May, to be exact. Um, how many beers, like, as far as like not how many vendors are gonna be there, but how many beers do you expect to be at a beer festival?
Oh, geez.
Just a rough
Okay.
guess.
In my mentality, my
Hmm.
one of my criteria that I look for. Now, I could be proven. I know this can't apply to everyone, but
Yeah.
I appreciate a booth with four or more beers.
Okay. So if you're
And
it's
like part
yeah.
of part of this festival is it is one of the better ones. And
Hmm.
I really can't think of a booth that has under four beers at this one off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
So four beers and let's say ballpark, what, like 50, 60 vendors maybe at the most?
Yeah, I think it's 65 they announced or
Okay,
they claim.
65. Yeah, so that's what, like 250, 260 beers roughly? I'm just ballpark. If some bring two or three,
Right.
whatever. All right.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
okay, just jumping back into my head. Yeah, I think there was like a cider that Oxbow cider. They only had like three, but then
Yeah.
again, for everyone that with three, there's some with six, some with seven. You know,
Right.
it just
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like Firestone's
it,
always going to come heavy in Sierra Nevada, the bigger ones.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Alvarado Street, they normally have a lot. By a
Yeah.
lot, I mean like five or six.
Yeah.
Um,
You better get there
you
early.
go on and on, right?
But yeah, so the only
The
reason I ask you
brewery.
is
Uh,
the only reason I ask you is because Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the Michigan 2025 Winter Beer Festival, they're going to feature 499 beers.
oh man, is it a 2 day festival or what's going on?
And you better hope so. Comstock Park, Michigan, the highly anticipated Winter Beer Festival, especially in the winter in Michigan, it's not an easy feat to head anywhere. during the winter in Michigan. Will once again take place at the home of the West Michigan Whitecaps this weekend. Oh, that's that the what do you call it, right? The minor league team, the Whitecaps, if I'm not mistaken. I like their logo and their alternative logos or their alternative jerseys. It seemed like a fun place to go to watch a baseball game. Presented by the Michigan Brewers Guild. Festivities will kick off Saturday. Yeah. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I wore it. I think it was the first beer festival you came to.
Oh, okay.
Or the one you came to with Eddie.
All right. Oh, yeah, that was fuck. Holy shit. That was 2000. It was right after COVID. The first one after COVID.
Yeah. So was it 22 then?
Yeah, it must have been 22. The we're talking about the Firestone Walker Invitational.
23. Either way.
Yeah. Well, 20 was canceled. 21 was canceled. 22 they had it. Let's see here. Saturday, February 22nd at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park, just north of downtown Grand Rapids, from 1 to 6 p.m. Oh, that's a good one. Maybe VIPs at 1, and the rest are at 5, or not 5, at 2, at 5. You only get an hour. If you got a regular ticket, you only get 1 hour. Patrons can expect hundreds of local beers from the state's finest breweries, local music, ice sculptures. Oh, nice. Carving demos, fire pits, and plenty of. You gotta have fire pits, or at least those fucking. What do they call those umbrellas with the fire in them? The heat umbrellas. I don't know what they call those things.
Yeah, I just thought they were called patio heaters.
You're probably right. I'm probably thinking of way too specific of a term. Tickets start at $60. Yeah.
You're talking about they got the propane in the base.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes you could see like the little flame, it looks like a stove ring of flame.
Right. Yeah. Like a real thick stove ring up top, but it has a dome over it, so it projects the heat down a little bit. It tries to anyway.
Radiate.
Radiate the heat. That's what it does, right? Radiate. Tickets start at $60. So for 499 beers for $60, that's pretty good. I wonder how many you can actually get to, though.
Right.
I'm good at like 15, maybe 20 at the most.
We're gonna go for 22.
All right. Well, if I don't have to drive.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, if you're driving, you really need to rethink your whole strategy.
Yeah. Maybe get a DD ticket.
Okay, not to go off too much on a tangent. I was watching History Channel, and it was how Disney changed America or built America.
Oh yeah, I heard that thing's out there. Yeah.
And they had this thing about like he felt like for true value for the park, like you had like it was 8.5. So it was 8.5 attractions per visit. If you did more than that, then you feel you got value for what you paid. And that's based off, waiting in long rides. This is way back in the day before like all the lightning passes and whatever they do now. I heard they changed all that. But so yeah, even if every ride is an hour long, that means your visit would be at least 10 hours because you figure in lunch and breaks and stuff like that. So, and that was the thing. It was not just to entertain you, but to keep you there entertained.
Yeah, because the longer you're there, the more you're gonna have to spend. Because, like you said, like with the food and whatever else, and the merchandise and stuff like that.
And then, so what I'm trying to get though to is like, so let's just say you go to a beer festival and expect to have 20 samples. So like you divide that by the cost, like how much per beer are you paying?
Right. Well, and that's funny because I hadn't got to there yet. And as I was scanning, as you were talking, you get 15 tokens for a 3-ounce beer sample. So do that math.
Oh, okay. So they already control it walking in. Okay, well that's good to an extent because you could really
do some damage.
Yeah, you could really clean up in more ways than one.
I kind of feel bad though. Well, it depends how big the venue is and how many festival goers there are, because a lot of those brewers, they go and they have fun, but they're like, I want to get out of here. And if I have any beer, like this does nothing to me. This is a sunk cost Like all the beer that they bring to an event is done with. They can't bring it back and just resell it or repackage it or put it on tap or anything. It's done. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
they
that's
want to
another
get
thing
rid of
too.
it.
Is like some of the more popular beers, they'll get over half the tokens. Well,
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
some guys will get average, you know, way less.
yeah.
Not even
And
average, just
so
get way less.
tokens is kind of weird though. You got to carry that around. What if you drop it? The whole card thing is a little bit better. But
Yeah, the card's better.
I mean, they have
You
the
know, what'd be
card where
ideal.
they. Yeah. What do you
What
think
would
is
be
the best
ideal is
idea?
if they they give you like a Starbucks cup, with little
Yeah.
boxes, and they just check off your cup.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea because it's a lot less waste because there's usually like they give you like a little card, like a little pamphlet, and they check it off. Or sometimes it's perforated, so they tear off. You have to tear off the ticket and put it in the little cup in there. There's all sorts of it all depends on the alcohol board in the state that you're in. What determines what they could do at the beer festivals.
Right.
But anyway, we're lucky that in California you don't need anything. You can just go until you're done.
Right.
Self-regulated. I mean, really, all the I hate to bring politics in it, but every red state should have that fucking law that because less government oversight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still surprised there's Drake counties in this state.
I'm surprised you guys don't have gambling in California, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes.
All right. The second, and this is my last story. This comes to us from Vine Pair, from our often our contributor to Cöld Brüe. So I thank him. From Dave Infante, from Vine Pair. His headline is "The U.S. hops business is in bad shape. Here's why." And that's such a clickbait headline, right? The here's
Is
why tagline at the end of the headline.
I'm listening.
In his memoir of a life spent selling Heineken for his family, eponymous importer Philip Van Munchin describes the challenging of hiring brand managers from beyond the industry. The one candidate who impressed me suggested her first order of business if she got the job would be a self-education on the various legal restrictions placed upon beer marketing, he writes in 1997's Beer Blast. The other two lacked not only the first MBA, but also failed to give any indication to me that they recognized any difference between different packaged goods. This worried me because one was currently working for a cigarette manufacturer and the other was working on a dish soap. If everything you knew about the beer business came from LinkedIn, you could be forgiven for wondering what Van Munching's concern was. After all, to this casual observer then and especially now, packaged beer looks a lot like the other shelf-stable stuff sold alongside it at a supermarket or convenience store. Soda, candy bars, mayonnaise, you name it. But this elides trickier realities that challenge the category. It's more closely tied to specialized agricultural outputs than much of the mass market consumer packaged goods market. The national toothpaste supply does not rise and fall on harvest yields. The national beer supply, to varying extents, kind of does. We discussed this just a couple weeks ago with regard to the American brewing industry's reliance on Canadian barley, access to which was then being threatened by the Trump administration's currently suspended 25% tariff on our neighbors to the north. Today, I want to highlight an inverse agricultural problem, one happening stateside due not to the scarcity of a key crop, but its surplus. That's right, folks. For the first time in my 2.5 years helming Hop Take, I'm actually writing a column about hops. Hold on, let me take a sip because it might get a little bit long in the tooth in this one. The LinkedIn friendly version of this story is that we've got way too many of them. The U.S. hop market is teetering on the verge of gutting glut. Everyone needs to make more hop water pronto. Thank you. The real version is, of course, more complicated, but it's important stuff. And to the extent that the beer business is exceptional, its close relationship with the hops market is part of the reason why. Now that we've cleared out the NBA brain toothpaste jockeys, let's get into it. Nobody really disagrees that the U.S. hop market has a surplus. The United States Department of Agriculture 2024 National Hop Report, published in the late December of last year, found that farmers across the country harvested 87.1 million pounds of the bright green cones, which was actually down 16% from 2023, when the haul was around 104 million pounds. Still, wrote hop growers of America's Maggie Elliott in the November-December 2024 edition of the New Brewer, a trade magazine published by the Brewers Association. Full canopies of vines remained hanging in some yard. In an unorthodox twist to the season, there were hops left behind. You're not an NBA-brained toothpaste jockey, so you can probably guess the reason growers had to leave crops and effectively cash to wither on the vine. Demand for beer, particularly hop-heavy craft beer, has slowed significantly in the past half decade. Hops can be used to make other products, but brewers are by far the biggest customers for the industry. So as they go, so go the growers. It's not that there isn't any other use for hops, says Stan Hieronymus, the prolific journalist behind Appalachian Beer and Hop Queries, and the author of several seminal books on hops. In a recent phone interview, the alternate applications are minimal, he says, but the bigger issue is that hops don't grow like hothouse tomatoes. Vines grow for decades, so farmers are constantly trying to match the future supply with future demand. In the 2010s, as the craft brewing industry boomed, they rushed to plant popular varietals like Citra and Mosaic, betting that those vines would produce in-demand hops for years to come. The surge in demand called for more processing equipment, which is specialized, expensive, and only in use for 5 or 6 weeks each year. It's inefficient, and when not used, is even less efficient, says Hieronymus. Now, with the craft brewery closures outpacing openings for the first time since 2005, craft beer volumes down annually for the most of this decade, and the drinker preference starting to shift from massive hop-forward beers, much of that infrastructure is idle. Those bets, some speculative, others made based on contracts with brewers that have since reneged or rolled them forward, haven't paid off. Now the bill is coming due. As unfamiliar as this problem may be for the broader CPG market, where products tend to rely on commodity inputs with a variety of uses by design, it will be painfully familiar to anybody in the U.S. wine business, which is desperately trying to get rid of grapes as demand for wine declines. Mother Nature offer one's potential solution, should she so choose. For example, in the 2024 harvest in California, it's shaping up to be the low in tonnage and high in quality, as counterintuitive godsend for glut panic wine grape growers. So yeah, so basically what he's saying is that the hop industry, because vines don't die, they just they produce their cones, their flowers, they get harvested, and then they repopulate. So they bet that this thing was going to go for a while, and now that the craft beer, I guess, is ebbing a little bit. I'm not saying it's declining or it's in decline. There's ebbs and flows to a lot of different industries, so it's in an ebb right now. Definitely in an ebb, because obviously since 2023, the harvest has declined. So yeah, it's just not. It's not as fortuitous, or it's not as they're not making it as much profit as they thought they were going to, like a couple years ago. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it just is. You know what I mean? So that's why it always interests me, the business side of the beer thing, more than anything else.
Definitely. I mean, you hear, I don't know. It's like you hear the the stories like that, the forewarning stories, or the trying to predict the futures, if you will, and you kind of just hope, man, I hope that really doesn't have the impact it can.
Right. Yeah. Hey, whatever. Uh, I just think we're in a lull right now, and we've been in lulls before as far as beer goes. It always seems like we've been doing this. Fuck man, we've been doing this over 8 years. We're on our ninth season or our ninth year of doing this podcast. And when we started, it was in a big, huge fucking rush, and then it kind of dipped down. I mean, COVID did have a little bit to do with it, and then it came right back up after COVID, and then it declined. It's declining again, so it's gonna come back up.
I mean, every what you call 'em?
Every industry,
Do I want to say
every
industry or retail industry or
niche,
um,
niche.
yeah, they they hit their peaks and their valleys all the same. It's good though, dude, because sometimes it does motivate for new innovation
Yeah,
or new ways and means to get things done.
yeah. Even if it's not like noticeable to the consumers, like in the industry of being more efficient and being more wary of what might come in the future and not extend so far is to bet on the future.
Exactly.
Hmm. All right, that's all I have for the
Yeah.
beer news. Yeah.
I say, but not even that. Just to also just make a new product, make a beer that's going to be the one that's going to put you on the map.
Oh yeah, the next hazy IPA, right? But not necessarily an IPA. All right,
Even better.
that's all I have for the beer news for this week. So you know what that means?
Yes, I think I do.
That means it's time for my favorite segment on Cold Brew because it's wait no your favorite segment. I forgot my tagline. Uh, because it's my favorite segment. It's time for the Cold Brew List. What do you got?
Let me ask you this.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to do the thing. Hold on. My bad.
Dun, 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 dun.
There it is.
No. Let me ask you this.
Uh huh.
Are you ready for baseball?
Oh man, whether I'm ready or not, it's here. I got my first alert. I'm like, oh shit, we started already.
You had your first heads up, and you were like covering for foul.
Hey, Giants won 6-1. That was my first alert. I'm like, oh wow. And you know what's funny? It was here in surprise. Their first game was against the Rangers. I'm like,
Yeah.
but my daughter had ice skating, so we couldn't have gone.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still boycotting baseball. So my list story today is the top 10 prospects of the NFL draft.
Oh wow. What a swerve.
Yeah, by the time the show drops, the NFL scouting combine will be going on, and I'm just going to do the top 10. I followed some college football, especially towards the end with the playoffs and whatnot.
Yeah.
However, I don't know all these guys.
Okay.
So, just out of curiosity, do you want me to go 1 through 10 or 10 through 1?
Go 10 through 1 because I have no idea who number 1 would be. If it was a surefire number 1, I'd say go the other way.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to do 11 because our Niners pick 11, and
Oh, okay.
this guy
I
is a
like
pretty. This guy who's ranked 11 overall. Now, again, this is 11 overall in prospects. So
yeah.
do with that as you will.
Mhm.
But it's Ashton Gianti. Gianti. I'm not sure how they said it,
Yeah,
but he
I
was
don't
the
know
running
either.
back from Boise State.
Okay.
And oh man, he's a smaller in stature.
Mhm.
He's 5'9", but he's a big dude, and he's fast.
Oh,
I
like
mean,
LaDainian Tomlinson.
yeah, you could say that. Possibly faster too. So
Wow.
might not
Okay.
be the receiver Tomlinson was.
I was going to
However,
ask that, yeah.
yeah, he was famous for the Michael Myers. before the snap, he would just stand like no, not like in a taunt like ready stance, but he would just stand straight up like almost zombie-esque. And
Yeah, I could picture that. Yeah.
but once once the ball was hiked, he was all about that action, boss. So,
Right. I mean, what difference does it make if you're down at 3-point or crouched or standing up? Because as long as you grab the ball and you're at the low spot in the point of impact, who cares? The
yeah,
ends.
I mean, some guys
Yeah.
they like to juke and throw the fake like first step misdirection, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, his first step wasn't wasted. At the same time, he didn't know what it was until the ball came. So
Yeah. True.
okay, so he's ranked number 11, and good for him. And if anything, Saquon showed that the running game still very viable in this day and age.
Yeah, but he's a generational player, though. You could see that when he was at Penn State.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, like I said, size wise too. I mean, uh, this guy's fast, but Saquon's legs. I mean,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
he's made to run through 300 pounders.
Yep. Yeah, he's that old school back, man. And he acts
Yeah.
like it too, even off the field. He acts like he should have been in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Real quick on a tangent though,
Yeah.
that was cool. I don't know at the parade. Did you see when he recognized a ball boy from the team?
Oh yeah. I read that story. I thought that was fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean that was an awesome moment, and
Oh yeah,
almost too kind of made the.
I was gonna say to tell our listeners, yeah, he recognized a ball boy out on the parade route, like just watching it, and he went out there and grabbed him and pulled him onto the parade because he felt like he should be a part of the championship parade.
Right. Well, yeah, I was going to say that kind of makes a franchise look bad. Like, wait a minute, they excluded the ball boys. They couldn't just have them. They could have like carried banners or something, just walking around with
I don't
in
think
some sort of capacity. They should have been there.
I don't think they excluded him. I just thought they were overlooked. That's the way I want to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, keep going.
Regardless, that was cool.
We're only on number 11, so can we keep going?
Right. Number 11 of top 10.
I know.
Pretty much our we're on par for tonight's show.
Right.
All right. So number 10 is James Pierce Jr. From Tennessee. He is an edge. He's 6'5", 243.
Wow.
That's
That's
some
fucking
size.
tall. Yeah. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Number 9, from the University of Georgia, Jalon Walker. He's also an edge rusher.
Okay.
6'2", 245.
All right, that's more of a manageable size.
Right?
But he probably has better skills because he's a little bit shorter. He could probably do a little bit more than the 6'5" dude.
Yeah, possibly. But 6'5", wingspan on the edge too. If you don't get the quarterback, just get your arms up.
That's exactly what I was thinking at that size. Yes.
Yeah. All right, number 8, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He's already chirping.
I've never even heard of the dude until now, to be honest. Like, not that I'm the biggest college football guy, but never even heard his name till right now. But it sounds like a combination of a bunch of like old school names, like Cam Newton and I don't know.
Cam Newton and Charlie Ward.
Yeah, Charlie Ward. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, real quick. No, I say he's chirping. He said this week, for every team that passes on him, he's gonna make them feel it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole chip on the shoulder thing. If it helps him do better, cool. If not, then you look like a fool.
All right. Now, number 7 is your neighbor. I don't know how to say his name. He's a receiver from Arizona. Teteora.
I have no idea. I don't know. The only one I remember was like Skibadoo or whatever the guy's name from ASU.
Okay, no, this guy's from Arizona. Last name's McMillan.
Okay.
I'm gonna spell his name. Let me know how you would say it.
Yeah.
T as in Tom.
Mm-hmm.
E-T-A-I-R-O-A.
Airoa. Tetero?
I guess as good as mine.
Okay.
Anyway,
It shows
this is
it
a big
shows you how
receiver,
it shows you how much I pay attention to local sports.
right? You mean T-Mac? I know T-Mac. Actually, but this guy, 6'5", 212.
Wow.
That's a big target right there. That's like
Yeah.
Megatron.
Oh yeah, I was thinking him. Also, Irvin was that big too, right? Was he a big dude?
Michael Irvin?
Bolden, Bolden,
Oh, no.
Anquan. He was big. Maybe he
I
wasn't as tall. He was big though. He's a
yeah.
wide body. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. Next, Will Campbell Jr., offensive tackle, LSU, 6'6", 323.
Damn. Is he he's a tackler? You said.
Yeah, offensive
Okay.
tackle.
All right. So he don't have to pull too often. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Right. Number 5, Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, 6'2", 202.
Wow, that's pretty tall for a
Yeah.
cornerback, and pretty high too
Yeah.
as far as ranking goes.
Right. I mean, but this is 5 overall prospect now. As far as position and need, I mean, it'd be a luxury to have. Yeah, again, just because he's 5 doesn't mean he's going 5 off the board.
Right. Yeah. It's all about need, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because that guy is number 11, doesn't mean the 49ers are going to take the running back 11th.
Right. Number 3, from Michigan, Mason Graham, defensive lineman.
Nice.
I'm sorry. Shoot. I skipped 4. 4, offensive tackle from Texas, Kelvin Banks Jr., 6'4", 320.
Okay.
So another big dude, offensive tackle. And then, number 3 is Mason Graham, Michigan, defensive line, 6'3", 320 as well.
Oh wow. Okay. Big dude.
Yeah. The number 2 is Abdul Carter, edge, Penn State, 6'3", 252.
Oh, okay. So tall, but a little bit more svelte. Like he can actually rush.
Right. Yeah. He could. Yeah. He's more of the D lineman, not the outside linebacker. Both. Actually,
Right.
I think it might be the other way around with him. Just as far as paid. I mean, he's got comparisons to Parsons, but some say he like if he's got to cover the flat and stuff like that, he's gonna need some work. I'm not saying he can't do it. Just he never really had to do it at Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like a Mike, not an outside linebacker, but a Mike for me is like 6 foot 225, 230, something like that. So
Yeah.
like an outside linebacker, maybe a little bit bigger because he's got to handle some people coming off the edge. But all right,
Right. And number 1 would be Travis Hunter from Colorado.
yeah,
6'1", 185. Now, position they have him as athlete. A lot of people think he's going to go to the league
yeah.
as a corner over a receiver.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But some people think he should, if he's going to go and make money, he should go as a receiver because receivers make more. Right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he should be like in every down, but why not go 2 ways?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of argument for what he should be doing. And same thing, like, well, some of it is just practice. Like, when the DBs are in the meeting room, so are the receivers. So it's like, well, how could you be at 2 places at once?
Right.
But others are saying, well, he doesn't have to play, total offense. He could do, packages when you want to do,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, when you get the third, he could rotate with the third receiver, or even when you do 4 receiver sets, he'd be in there. So
I mean, from an ownership standpoint, it'd be like throw him on the field, like 10% of the plays, just to get people in the seats. See what you do. You don't have to use them if it makes sense. Do it.
pretty much, I get that.
Yeah. I would. I mean, if I was his agent, that's what I would be pushing for. But we'll see what. I mean, who's got the number one? I forgot. Is it the? It's not the Titans, is it?
Yeah, it's the Titans.
Okay. I was just watching a fucking Simpsons episode, and Milhouse was like, "Minnesota Vikings, don't they know this is Tennessee Titans territory?" And of course, because they're losers.
Jeez.
Apologies to all the Titans out there, but not really.
Right.
Win some first. Oh shit! All right, man. Cool. All right, great list. How's your beer treating you?
Good. Gone.
Yeah, mine's almost there. Look, I got one swallow left. We're gonna rate our beers right now on Untapped. So yeah, search for us on Untapped and friend us, and we'll friend you back. So I know you had Parabola 2017, right?
Yes.
All right, let me try to spell Parabola right. Parabola, excuse me. And I'll write 2017. Oh, not 2917, 2017. There it is. All right, what would you like to rate this at?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
All right, sounds good. It has an overall rating right now of 4.44. 4 of our friends have rated it as an average of 4.56. What would you like to rate? You're giving it a 4, and what are your notes?
Strong.
Yeah.
Bold.
Yeah.
And barely.
In barely. It wants me to change it to barely, but I'm not going to do it. Save and check in. Very nice. 2017. Holy shit. I'm fucking jealous, man. What? That's 8 years now? 7 years at least.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one, before I look at it, so I don't bias my opinion. I like it. It's good. Parabola is always one of my favorites every year. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Parabola. Oop. Parabola 2023 has an overall rating right now of 4.3. None of our friends have rated it at all. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5. And I'm gonna say it is. I'm gonna use your bold tactic. Semi-sweet, because it's like those little chocolate chips you get from Nestle Toll House. They're kind of sweet, but not really. So they call them they call them semi-sweet chips. So that's what I'm gonna say: semi-sweet and delicious. Save and check in. All right, a couple things. I don't know if you were able to check it out at all. I've only seen half of it, but did you watch the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you watch the whole thing? I've only watched half of it.
Most of it.
Okay. What'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, I'm an SNL fan. I mean, I know the ebbs and flows of the show, the ups and downs, but I'm a big SNL fan. I love the alumni they got there. I like the music that they did, and just appreciate the show. It was just a showcase of a lot of the talent that's come through there.
Did you so shoot, I forgot what I was going to ask. Did you like the performance or the monologue? Because they had Steve Martin open. Now, would you consider that his 18th hosting, or they just gave him the monologue because it wasn't a full regular show?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was no true host, so
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't count it as a hosting.
I
Uh,
agree.
or if anything, I'd give everyone the host credit. I mean, just because they,
Mhm.
well, damn it, they deserve it. You know.
Right. So there was a lot of no show or a few no shows, that notables that no show, like Bill Hader, but he had a previous engagement. I think Aykroyd wanted. I don't know why Aykroyd wasn't there. I would have liked to see him there, but I mean, Bill Murray
Yeah.
showed up, Chase showed up, Lorraine Newman was there. I thought her thing with Pete Davidson was fucking great. uh, but yeah, they had they did some with the new cast, a lot of with the old cast. Oh, did you like Black Jeopardy with Eddie Murphy being Tracy Morgan with Tracy Morgan right next to him?
Yeah, that was great.
So fucking funny, dude. I liked it. I agree.
The 4 cheese lasagna.
Yeah, because 3 cheese ain't enough.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you can add as many cheeses as you want to my lasagna. To be honest.
Huh. Um. Yeah, you know, I heard like Eddie Murphy being interviewed, and he did his Tracy Morgan, and I thought it was really good. But the fact
Yeah,
that he had a whole little sketch or uh, what do I say, a vessel to
yeah.
do it through, it just, yeah, it was pretty, it was great.
It would have been fucking funny if Tracy did Eddie and Eddie did Tracy. I thought that would have been great.
Yeah,
And it was kind of
yeah,
weird that
that was
they.
really good.
I thought it was kind of weird when they took away Eddie without like even saying anything and putting in Tom Hanks. Now I like Tom Hanks's mega character. I think it's funny, but it was just weird. Just to like, it was almost like they shoehorned him in.
Yeah, that seemed a little like rushed or forced. However, if you saw the whole episode of Black Jeopardy when Tom Hanks was Doug for the first time,
Yeah,
that was
I
good in
did.
itself. So to bring him back, I get it. However, they should have transitioned it, or you know what, even just have him there
Put him
to
in, right?
begin with for whatever. Yeah, four contestants just to mess with everyone.
Not only that, but like it's fucking Saturday Night Live 50th. We would have fucking understood.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that was weird, the whole substitution thing. But it came out, and Eddie came back later with the Mr. Robinson Neighborhood, which which I fucking, one of one of the segments that I laughed the most at was when they did a montage of all the pratfalls and the physical comedy that they did throughout the years of Saturday Night Live. I was busting my ass, dude. That was fucking great.
You know what else I liked? I liked Bill Murray on the news when he was ranking all the anchors.
Dude, and he did like all the black anchors, and it was just Michael Che, and then he went off just so he wouldn't have to put him in with everybody else. I thought that was a good that was
Yeah.
a good thing. And then he left Colin Joe stopped the whole thing.
Right.
No, that was good. That was good. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I heard that Adam Sandler's song fucking, was one of the best segments of the whole thing because he did like the whole montage thing. He's done that before though. He's done that
Right.
like tribute. Like I think he did that like 3 or 4 years ago when he hosted. So for me it seemed like old hat, but I still want to see it. But I heard it was good.
Right.
And
Yeah,
just
there's a few things I
yeah,
need to see still.
okay. And for the modern generation, so it was like I want to say it was earlier this season when Sabrina Carpenter hosted, and they did the whole espresso montage. Oh no, it wasn't her. It was Ariana Grande hosted, and they did like the bridal party at a wedding during the reception, and they sang espresso by Sabrina Carpenter instead of espresso. It was about some guy named Domingo that the bride had hooked up
Oh,
with.
right.
Yeah, and they they did a callback, or they did it again, the second thing, and then they intimated that the host, the husband, had an affair with some guy named I forgot it was Pablo Pascal played the guy,
Yeah.
but they did that whole song again, and I thought that was kind of funny. I liked it. I dug it, and my daughter heard about it. So for her, for the younger generation, that's the part that they liked. They didn't care about all the nostalgia. They just cared about the funny.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was it Domingo? Was that the name?
Domingo was the original name from the first
Oh,
sketch that they did a couple months ago, but shoot, I forgot the name of the they did this. But one of the funniest jokes that they had was the groomsmen of the wedding. It was they were talking about Scottsdale. There was two guys named Scott and a guy named Dale, and so
right.
Scott and Dale. I thought that was a joke. It might be an old joke, but it was the first time I ever heard it.
It hit right.
Yeah, it hit me just right. Anyway, there was that this weekend, and the same weekend was the NBA All-Star game. Did you watch any of that?
No, that looked terrible. Like I realized what was going on with like the how many teams were there? Like there was four mini teams or something like that.
Yep, it was an All-Star tournament. It was like I forgot. I know it was Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Johnson, and not Candace Owens, Candace Parker. And they all had their own. They were like the quote GMs of the teams, and like I think Kenny's team was like the international team, and Candace had the Rising Stars. Shaq had the OGs, and or Kenny was the international. Anyway, they all had their own
Makeup.
theme of their team. Yeah, the makeup of their teams, and ended up after I saw like the first round, like because it was four teams and they played the two games. The winner, it was the first to 40, and then they went
Yeah.
off to play the next game. And after the first two games before they did the finals, I'm like, oh, Steph is gonna win the MVP of this because he was acting like it was the All-Star game, like the old All-Star game, like doing crazy shots, even weird fucking passes, like half court passes. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like everyone's trying to play this game. Wemby's throwing blocks and shit. Like, yeah, this is not a regular All-Star game. But he was having fun, and it was for Steph anyway. It was a home court advantage because they were playing it in at the what's it Chase Arena? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I put $5 on Steph to win the MVP at plus 300, and I won that. I kind of wish I put more at this point because I usually bet 10 or $20 a game, but I put 5 on it. I won. I won like $15.
Or
Anyway,
on
I liked it. I thought it was
on
okay.
a side note,
Yeah.
San Francisco Beer Week started.
Oh yeah.
Well, today's Saturday. It started yesterday, technically. Although it seems like it's getting kicked later because normally it comes out when Pliny the Younger gets released in the beginning of February. So I don't
Hmm.
know if they switched it. The local beer scene and going out been hasn't been a priority lately.
Okay.
But long story short, I ended up going to Taplands this morning for their brews and breakfast. And well, I by the time I got there, they ran out of their donuts for their breakfast sandwiches, and their kitchen was
Sons
closed.
of
So,
guns.
yeah, had a few beers, saw a few people I knew, and it was cool. It was cool to be back.
Yeah, you posted on our IG, right?
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I haven't been posting there too much lately. I got to do it more. I know I really should be promoting the show more, but man, I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's a lull. Maybe it's just I need a inspiration. I need a muse. I need a muse. That's all it is.
right.
Anyway, do you got anything coming up in the next couple weeks, or is this gonna be status quo for you?
No, well, peeling the pulling back the curtain. I'm going to be out of town next week for a wedding, for a family wedding.
Wedding.
So yeah, so I don't know if you're going to do a guest host or a filler show or a live and direct special. I don't know, but I probably won't be available to record. So just throwing that
Ah,
out there.
okay. All right. I'll get some Chivo to fill in for you.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I'm messing with you, man. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe if you just call in and do a segment, and I'll do the rest of the show. We'll do something.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Oh, you know what? I'll just get your wife to do it then. Maybe your kids. All right.
Oh,
yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to this episode before we sign off?
No. Drink
All right.
up, everyone.
Thank you for downloading yet again another Cöld Brüe podcast. I am Greg. He is Sorcerer Chromatic, and we'd like to wish you cheers.
Until next time.